shoot. Okay. Hi, I'm Ceasar. I am a trauma therapist and I am a relationship coach. And I just wanted to get on here and just introduce myself really quick because I probably posted or I will be posting a bunch of videos introducing who I am and just different thoughts that come to mind. And a lot of them are walking videos, I realized. And I was like, I should probably do like a proper sit down video, just so people know who I am. And they're like, oh, she's not just walking around. Now, part of the reason I'm always walking around is that I'm very busy, and I spend a lot of time walking. But also, walking is very regulating for me, and this is when I have like the best ideas. And it's also just kind of how I work best. Even when I have like a blog idea, it often will spark because I'm walking and I just start thinking about something like, oh, I should talk about this. And so I'll speak into like my notes app and I'm like writing out this whole entire blog. And then I go back and, I edit it and make it pretty. And so that's just the way I work though. Like I'm a very in the moment person. I have a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, working with survivors of trauma, and what kind of led me from going from just being a therapist, which I love, I still love working with the clients I work with, but moving more into relationship coaching and helping people with like self-esteem and self-worth and things like that, is that I found that as we did some of this early childhood work, healing from, sexual abuse, attachment trauma, etc., we would then get into a period of talking about relationships, and we do more deep dive work into self-esteem. And that I found that I really loved working with women on this kind of next chapter of their life. So even though they did all the therapy and they're feeling a whole lot better, there was still some of this lingering stuff that would impact them relationally. And it was often around how they felt about themselves. And it wasn't always this sort of like negative, direct thinking of, oh, I think that, I'm unworthy, or I'm ugly. Like it's not so much of that I have found, that is sometimes present, but it would be more of like, I don't know how to show up and say, this is what I want, or this is what I need, and I deserve that. And it's okay to say that, and not everybody's going to leave. And actually coming to the realization that in a healthy relationship, whether that's with friends or that's with romantic partners, you're allowed to say, I have a need, and I have a need that's different from my own, or different from you, or an idea or a thought or whatever that's different, and you still show up for me. Often what happens with a lot of trauma, particularly attachment trauma, is this experience of parents going away, is what I call it. Like they disengage. And when I was doing my infant parent mental health specialization, where the focus was on 0 to 5, like the first 5 years of life, there was a lot of emphasis and discussion around what the baby's experience is of a parent who is struggling with like postpartum depression, right? As adults, we understand what depression is, but for the baby, they experience a loss, right? They experience the withdrawal, they experience the flat affect, right? They experience your disengagement as abandonment. Now, I'm not saying that here to like put pressure on parents or anything like that. Like if you're struggling with postpartum, that's very common, and please get help. And, this is not a place of shame, but it's just giving a little bit of education about, or helping you understand where I've come from in my own education. And when I learned about that, I started to think about how that shows up, because my early experience was working with kids. And so how I saw that in the parent-child dynamic, and how much it affected the kids, and then the relationship moving forward. And if it's not tackled, you carry some of that stuff into adulthood. And the reality is, like, kids for their survival are a little bit more self-centered. As adults, we can think a little bit more clearly, like we understand. But when we're activated, when we're stressed, when a feeling of being unsafe, or, if I'm in a relationship and somebody says something I don't like, and I go, oh, I can't say anything. Like I automatically bite my tongue. It's not because I think I'm not worth it, right? That's not the conscious thought that comes to mind. Oh, I'm not worth it, I can't say anything. It's like, oh, I don't say anything. And then you think about it later, like, well, why didn't I say anything? Why did my voice tighten up? Why did I lose my voice? Why does that keep happening? And when you sit with it, you go, oh, because I don't want that person to be mad at me. Oh, I don't want them to leave me, right? So what comes at the end, when you unpack it, is a realization, is like, there's a fear of loss, right? The loss of the withdrawal of the relationship. And I've even experienced that even in my own, relationship with my mother, who I love dearly. She's wonderful in many, many ways, but she struggles with regulation. She struggles with you having a difference of opinion from her, even though she's a lawyer. And she'll tell you, like, you can argue with me. No, you can't. Not when I was young, no, I couldn't, right? Maybe as an adult, I feel like I can, but I still will sometimes like not say anything because I'm like, oh, she can't tolerate it. She disappears. And she would say stuff like, we're not going to have this discussion. Like, because she would say, well, I don't want to be mad. Well, why do you have to get mad just because we're disagreeing on something? We can just disagree without, being mad. And even if you do get mad, like, what's wrong with being mad? It's your behavior that matters. So are you going to be so mad that you're going to start yelling and cussing and hitting? That's not my mom, by the way. She wouldn't do that. But like, is there a fear that would happen? So that's why you don't say. But as a child, I experience me standing up for myself or having a difference of opinion as you withdrawing your love and affection. And I have 3 siblings, and we all respond. Like, if we all sat down in a room and we're like, do you think mom, all of us would agree, but we handled it very differently. The relationship that we have with my mom, it's all very different from her and my older brother just not getting along at all. To like my youngest brother, and like, he doesn't say anything. He doesn't say anything. He's very agreeable, and I notice my own. Sometimes I can be very agreeable, and I don't say stuff, not because I don't have an opinion, but because I've learned this way of interacting with people, and I've had to unlearn it. And sometimes it shows up, I'm going to be honest, but because we're all a work in progress, and that's the reality. So that's one path that could happen. The other one could be if you experience people as being very intrusive, right? So relationships can feel what's the word? It's like, typically we think of the person who's more avoidantly attached. It's like, oh, they say they don't need anybody, but it's this experience often of like people needing them too much, right? They are the mediators in the family system. They are the peacekeepers, right? Maybe they're the over-parentified child. And so intimacy can feel like intrusion. Intimacy can feel like giving too much. And so you'd rather go solo, and you're not getting anything in return, or it's like you get very little in return. So it doesn't seem worth it to have a relationship. Like, relationships are like, why would I do that to myself? I'm going to be giving out more than I'm putting in. So I don't want, but we all want relationships. That's how we're wired. We're wired to be in connection with others. And so it goes against our fundamental nature to be alone. Now, I'm not saying you have to be in a relationship and get married. If that's what you want to do, that's amazing, right? I'm all about supporting women on whatever path like intrinsically feels right to them. Like, I don't pass judgment. I really like to help help women get to that point where they're like, this is what I want, and I'm going to go after it. That's freedom. That's liberating. So choosing a relationship or not choosing a relationship, I don't have judgment either way. I don't think there's one way to be that's better than another. It's really going to be individual. But I do think it's important to notice what ways do you withhold or withdraw yourself or disconnect, even if you're like on a first date or, you really like the person, but when they start showing that they're interested in you, like, do you go, oh, he's too needy. I don't want him. Or, oh, like, she called me and told me the date was wonderful. Like, I don't want to, do you feel yourself automatically pulling away when somebody gets close? And what's that about, right? Does that prevent you from connecting in a way that you would really want to? And you can have boundaries around that too. And you can find people who are healthy and secure that you can talk about some of these things, and you guys get to work through it together. And that's part of the healing is working together, working with somebody. You could do that in a relationship. You can do that with friends. I always advocate with my clients who come, trauma, and we start working more specifically on this. But even if you don't necessarily have an abusive background, but you might have some attachment stuff, I would still recommend working through some of this with a friend or in coaching. I offer coaching. So you can, find more information in my bio around that. Yeah, I just did a little shameless plug. But the point is that, when you work with someone on some of this deep, deep stuff, and you get what we call like a corrective experience, it allows you to get a new experience that you can anchor into, so that you go, not everything is going to be like my childhood. Not everything is going to be like my narcissistic ex, right? There's different types of people out there. And so you start to get that experience of being with people where it just resonates a little bit more and you can show up and be more of your authentic and your true self. So anyway, this video went longer than I thought. But I was like, I've just been on a roll all day shooting videos and I was, going to post them. And I was like, I'm always walking and these people might think I don't have an office. I'm in my very bare office because I'm moving in a month. But I do have an office. I just have found that I have really liked just when a thought comes to mind, I just quickly do a video and share it as opposed to having to sit down and schedule. I do want to still, like, I have a YouTube channel. I'm trying to come back. I've been trying to come back for like 2 months, but I've been sick on and off and just very busy. And so I have not done it, but I do plan to still do some videos on YouTube. This might even end up on YouTube. We shall see. But it's been really hard to sit down and do a video because I've just been so busy and getting sick constantly since I moved back to Israel. And we also had a bunch of holidays coming. So anyway, if you like this video, so off the cuff, I love it. I really thought I was going to do like a 30-minute intro or 30-second intro. I'm like, this is who I am. Hi. But this is me. This is me in session. If you work with me, like if I'm going to send this to the client that inspired me to get back to YouTube, I'll send it to her. I'm sure she'll get a kick out of it. But this is how I am in session. Like something just comes up, like a client's talking and I gently interrupt and I'm like, okay, can we go back to this part over here? And we just like go in the moment. And my clients have found that to be incredibly helpful, that in the moment when something's coming up and we're kind of processing it and breaking it down and they get clarity, like, oh my God, that's the thing. Yes, that's what's going on. And so then they know how to tackle it, right? They can then go, okay, in this moment when I'm feeling not the necessary like negative thought of I don't like myself, but it's like, oh my gosh, I act this way because, I have this narrative in my head of I'm not worthy in some way, but I am worthy, Oh, there's my dog. And so they start to realize that they are worth it. And that's where the change really happens, is they can start changing the negative thought about themselves and go, these are all the ways that my parents failed me, sometimes intentional, but oftentimes they just didn't have the skill. It's not about me. It's not my fault. And look at all the ways I've been loved by current friends, even maybe friends you're not friends with anymore, maybe relationships, yourself. You start to see, oh my gosh, like, you do like some inner child work and you start going, oh, wait a minute. I deserve to be treated with way more love and respect than I was. And you feel into that and you anchor into that and you're like, this is the truth. I know this to be true. That's where the real like power of healing and transformation really happens. So anyway, I need to go walk my dog. If we work together, you might see her in session because for some reason she loves to join and sit on my lap when I'm working with clients, even though she can't hear anything because I have headphones. So if you want to learn more about me, either my therapy practice or my relationship coaching, just check out the information. Okay, this is evidently going to be a YouTube video. Check out the information in my bio. There are in the description box, but you can also look at my stuff in my bio because it's maybe possibly going to be on Instagram. I don't know, it's 13 minutes. But this is what happens when you let me talk. I just keep going and going. So anyway, thanks for watching my very long video that was not supposed to be that long. And look forward to working with you and I hope you like my videos.